We back with another episode of Straight Shooters.
Back to another Straight Shooters video. I'm Sid.
You had the ring to be the best in the league.
How impactful is it when it comes to them winning?
That was his first All-Star year.
It's proven facts.
Not going to give you what you need in the playoff setting.
Their team chemistry is probably thrown off because of this trade.
This shit is politics, bro.
It is what it is sometimes.
Where he need to be attacking the rim, because when he like that, like he unstoppable. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Straight Shooters. It's your boy Shai, along with my co-host Sid SS94. Welcome to Straight Shooters 94. We got my boy O. He might jump in a little bit. Can't wait for him to jump in. And today we're gonna talk about probably one of maybe the most important and most exciting part of the game. We're gonna be talking about buckets, bucket getters, all-time performances, all-time highest scoring performances. We got Bam Adebayo with 83 points the other day. Now the second all-time leading scorer when it comes to single game points, passing the late Kobe Bryant. You see right there. Also the other day we got SGA breaking the record, Wilt Chamberlain's record for the most 20-point games consecutively, which now he has 127 games with scoring 20 points in a row. So, Sid, how you feel about the latest scoring performances last week in the NBA between Bam Adebayo and Shai Alexander?
Oh, okay. So, Shai, man, congratulations, Shai, man. Like, this is a record that stood for like 60-something years, and I mean, even MJ couldn't break it. Even great scorers like KD couldn't break it. Like, this is a monumental achievement, and hopefully he keeps racking them up and put it so out of reach that can't nobody take it from him. You know, I also heard that Wilt, the reason why his streak got broke was because he got ejected in the very next game. You know, that would have been this game. And then he went on another streak of another 80 or 90 games in a row. But
Damn.
Hey man, it's like tough luck, but I mean that would have probably been 200 something games.
That's what I was just
congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to Shai, man. He deserved it, man. He's a prolific scorer, very consistent, man. No matter what the situation is, he go out there and provide his team what it needs for them to win. And also, he did this this year, especially. I mean, he's been doing this in 3 quarters a lot of those games, man. He's been sitting out the 4th quarter. He's been getting the damage done early, so that's quite impressive. To talk about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
yeah, I was about to get on.
Just to speak on when you say setting them down in 3 quarters, you always say they kind of reminiscent of the Warriors in their prime, you know, back in 2015, 2016-ish, when they were sitting Steph or maybe even Steph and Clay in the 3rd quarter, depending on how hot they got, just that level of dominance in the league. You always say that's they remind you of the Warriors with that. But go ahead and speak what you was about to say about Bam.
Oh yeah, they definitely remind me of the Warriors with that. But about Bam, you know, I think we go dive a little deep into these performances that happen like that. And on one hand, you know, as I've heard a couple of people say, it's unethical basketball. But on the other hand, it's well, once you get up there, you might as well go for it, right?
That's right.
So to me, I mean, it's impressive when, you know, anybody could rack up these big numbers. It's always impressive, but to the degree of how impressive it is, you know, that's another matter. And I think we're going to discuss that in more detail, you know, as we go along in this video.
For sure. So on a 1 to 10, considering all of the great scoring performances you've seen with your own eyes, all of the ones you went back and learned about and maybe watched throughout history, where do you rank this one in particular, Bam Adebayo's 83? Number 2 now on the all-time list.
So as a scoring performance, rated on a scale of 1 to 10, I ain't gonna lie, it's only like about a 6.
A 6,
Six and a
really
a 6.5. I give it a 6.5. Cause only,
interesting.
in fact, you know what? Let me go to 7. I'll say 7 because he's a player that I never would have even thought, if anybody was to ask, I would have never even thought he could achieve anything anywhere near this. I mean, I think his career high before this was only like a 40-point game, or maybe 40 something, he never
Right.
even hit 50. He definitely ain't hit 60. So I'd have never in a million years thought this dude could even do anything of this sort. So that'd give it a 7. But if I was to stack it up against other scoring performances I've seen, that's where I started coming in at the 6 at. So
Okay, before you go along, are you only counting regular season games, or this include playoff scoring performances as well? Because I guess when the
uh,
stakes get higher, then it'll be more impressive, even if it's less points. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah, absolutely. This is definitely regular season stuff, man. Playoffs is a whole different beast, and then finals is a whole different beast. So this
That's right.
that's a separate category altogether when it comes to scoring performances. But as far as a regular season achievement, this is one of those that like I said, a 7 out of 10. It was great because a player like him, I never would have expected it. And like I said, once you up there, once you start having a night like this, because he'll never be able to replicate a night like this, like in any form. I don't think. You know, that's that. I don't think. I don't think he'll have another. He might not ever have a 50-point game ever again. People that we've seen do these kind of things before, like Wilt. I looked it up, man. Wilt scored over 70 points 6 times. And he's had numerous 60-point games and 50-point games and 40-point games. Kobe,
He averaged 50. We
I mean,
talking
he
about Wilt. He
averaged
averaged
50. We
50.
talk about Wilt, yeah. And then you got dudes like Kobe who's hit 50 and 60 numerous times, and Dame, and probably Luka in his future will hit it, like several times, the 50 and 60-point marks. But Bam, I mean, this might be the crowning achievement of his career, unless he found a way to win a championship.
Yeah. I mean, this is a hell of it's man, 83 points. This is how I feel about it. I'm gonna give him about a 7.5
Okay.
because although you are second on the all-time list, he's the number one when it comes to proof because they got a lot of stuff going on with the Wilt, the conspiracy. So you know what I mean? I give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 83 a lot, like you say, even though like if you going out your way to play unethical basketball, so to speak, so he can get it, like you said, once you get to a certain point, you might as well go for it. And the other reason I deduct points from how impressive it was because he actually took altogether more shots than points he had. He took about 86 shots, including field goals and free throws. I think he took about 86 to get 83. So you feel what I'm
He
saying?
did.
But just having that stamina to be able to put that many shots up and keep going, though, that's impressive within itself. So, against a
Also
Wizards
true.
team that's tanking, that's I mean, they ain't the best defense. They one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the league right now. 7.5, man. And it's not nothing to be mad at. Like, I feel like the biggest thing with that is passing Kobe. I keep hearing people say, like, why would he want to pass Kobe like that and everything? Because he could. Like, he not just because he passed Kobe, that don't mean it's a more impressive performance. Like Kobe came, I think they was down by like close to 20 in the third quarter in that game when Kobe scored 81, where all those buckets was needed for them to win. Like, so that's way more impressive than what Bam did. But Bam number two, hey, it is what it is. If you mad, hey, so what? You can't do nothing about it.
Right.
And I think that's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
confusion. Oh, no, go ahead.
no. You were saying. Go ahead. I want to hear what you're saying.
I was about to say, I think the confusion when it comes to people is they think the the more points you have is equivalent to the better performance. Like if you score 65 and I score 60, you automatically got the better performance in some people eyes. They're not looking at field goal percentage, and not looking at the stakes of the game, like uh the level of defense you facing while
Yeah, that's
scoring
what I
that
was
much
gonna say,
points. They
dude.
not
I was gonna say degree of difficulty, like who you playing and who guarding you and what kind of defense they throwing at you.
exactly. So, like I said, it's impressive. Is it the most impressive game I ever seen? No, but man, I'm not gonna take it away from him, and I'm going to crown him as number 2 on the all-time list / number 1, depending on who you're talking to. It's wild that a lot of people don't believe in that 100-point Wilt game.
I know, but I consider the circumstances, but for me, the Wilt game is like, well, we seen this motherfucker score 60s and 70s like multiple times. Like, why
Like,
would it be outside the realm of possibility that he could get 100 points in the game when he's scoring like that? When he averaged 54 season,
that's what I'm
like,
saying. I believe that. I believe that he did it. I
yeah,
believe
me
that he
too,
got the 100 points. Yeah.
me too.
So, you know,
So, I wanted to break that down though. Like, all right, so what I did was I took and I looked up all the performances, regular season performances of players scoring 70 points or more, right? So it's happened
right.
only 16, it's only happened 16 times in NBA history. Like I said before, Wilt did it 6 out of those 16 times. So that's just how impressive Wilt was as a scorer.
Wow.
Yeah. So then, all right, so let me go through this list real quick from bottom to top. And from the 70 point games, we have Wilt, Embiid, and Devin Booker. Now, 2 of those were losses. Wilt and Booker, they both lost in those performances, and Embiid won. Now, remember how excited everyone, we talked about this with Devin Booker. Look how excited everyone was about Devin Booker getting his 70, or at least how excited he was and his teammates.
Yeah. I know
Meanwhile,
a
the
lot of
final
Booker fans too that was excited about that, but that's out of
shit,
all of those,
he
he the
he did
bottom
that
for
when
me.
I was yeah. And even on the way I wrote the list, it was 3 people with 70. I put his at the bottom.
Yep.
um, yeah, you lose, and he lost by 10 points. It's like, bro, like, nah, that ain't it. Embiid's actually look a little more kosher than what I thought. I thought they had blown up the Spurs. No, he did this against Wemby, actually. I think his rookie year.
Yeah. Wemby had a great game too.
He did. They only won by 10, so I can't even say he was. I mean, he definitely was stat padding to get it, but it was like, well, it was sort of a game. So
Yeah. I'm not mad at stat padding for a game. Like, especially like
right,
you said, when you start off hot like that and then you start to see that a record or a milestone is in reach, then why not go for it? Like, I'm not mad at a game where you stat padding, especially for Embiid as a scorer. He got the high hand, keep letting him score, see how far he can take it. It is what it is.
yeah. Yeah, he ended up being the reason why they blew that game open. And I think they probably sat him down at some point, and the score was probably closer than what the game really was at the end. So
Yeah, I remember
moving on to
watching that game.
the
We smoked them, but yeah, go ahead.
moving on to the 71-point games, there was Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, David Robinson, Elgin Baylor. Every one of those came out to be a win, and most of those games, I mean, they were blowouts, to be honest. Teams like the Rockets, the Bulls, the Clippers, and Elgin Baylor was against the Knicks. I don't know how good they were at that time because it probably was the same season Wilt scored 100 on them.
Could be.
Yeah, I didn't look up the year for that one, but all of those were wins. So all of those were impressive performances. I think Donovan Mitchell in particular, that was the same. Was that the same? That one that was the same week as Embiid?
Yeah, I think they all came within a week of Donovan, Luka Doncic too. They was all within a
Right.
week of
Well,
each other.
I'm about to get the Luka next. So Next is the 72-point game. That was Wilt.
Before you go there, out of those
What?
four you just named, one thing I forgot about that somebody reminded me of with the David Robinson game is that's
He did it
his hit to get the scoring title.
to get the
He went
scoring
out
title.
there.
I respect that.
I
respect
respect
that.
Like that's way more impressive. Now that's more impressive. That 71 is more impressive than Bam's 83 to me because of what was on the line. You get what I'm saying? And he went out there and was
Hell
like,
yeah.
I'm about to dominate and I'm gonna get this scoring title for this season. And you know what I mean? So shout out to David Robertson, one of the most underrated players too.
Yeah, for sure. I think when we talk about the top players of all time, David Robinson doesn't get mentioned enough in like those upper echelons of players. So
Right.
yeah, man. And I respect that, man. He went for it, so fuck that.
Right.
Moving on to the 72-point game, it was only one player that was Wilt, and he caught an L in that game. 73. Four more players scored 73. It was Luka, David Thompson, and Wilt twice. Luka won his game. That was against the Hawks. I kind of respect that too because the Hawks was supposed to draft Luka, but they went for Trae Young. So he showed them who they should have really picked in that draft. You know, David Thompson. You know, that was some people say he was the MJ before MJ. His was in a loss though, and his is real respectable too because he lost to the Pistons, and the final score was 137 to 139. He was basically doing everything he could to win and lost by a bucket. So,
Damn, that got
hats
hurt.
off to that one's got to be the most hurtful one. But and then the two Wilt games, Wilt won those games. They were pretty much blowout games. Next we have Wilt scoring 78, and this is another one where the score was 147 to 151. He played the Lakers and caught an L with 78 points.
Damn.
Yeah. Next, of course, is
Baylor.
Kobe. Yeah, Elgin Baylor
baby.
probably. But the next one's Kobe, and we already know Kobe had to bring them niggas back, and then put the nail in the coffin by blowing them away at the end. So we all know the story of that. And then of course is what we just witnessed with Bam, and then the 100-point game with Wilt. So what I'm seeing though is a lot of these games end up turning out to be blowouts, and a lot of these games ended up being against teams that are like weak, especially defensively. It might be a couple on here where, like Wilt took the loss to the Lakers. The Lakers were strong, obviously. David Thompson against the Pistons. I don't know what year that was, so I don't know how impressive the Pistons were at that time. But it's like a common theme when a player scores over 70. Typically, the other team ain't playing much defense, and it's a lot of real high scoring games too. A lot of 130, 140 point games, like from one team or the other.
Right.
So,
but it makes sense though if you put yourself in the Hooper's shoes, and it's just like like if you start out, if you come into the game like, yo, feed me, I'm feeling it tonight, or you make your first couple shots and you just like, yo, feed me. It makes sense to go for it against that type of team where, you know what I mean? You ain't got to stick to the game plan as much to beat them. Y'all probably just the far superior team all around. Like, it's just like, why not go again? Why not go for it against the team that's going to put up the least resistance? Like, yo, listen, like, this is what I can do to y'all.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, and then sometimes I think some of those teams, like especially in Wilt cases, was like, man, we can't stop this motherfucker. So let's try to speed up the tempo of the game and get as many shots up as we can, and hopefully he missed enough where, I mean, we could beat him in a shootout. Basically, we try to beat him in a shootout, him and his team, because we think, all right, he gonna get whatever, like 50. They probably figure we'll get 50. Cool, but the rest of them dudes ain't getting nothing.
Nope.
And then next thing you know, Next thing you know, that 50 turns out to be 100, or that 50 turns out to be 70 something. Then you got a
Right.
problem. But
Yeah, man. So, well, yeah, you already spoke on it about the playoffs. I was gonna ask, like, how few points does it have to be out the question to be a better performance? Like, I just want to just pick at your brain real quick. Like Jason Tatum and Steph Curry, when they were scoring 50 in the game 7 in the playoffs, is they more impressive than Bam Adebayo's 83, even though it's like Bam got 33 more points than them. But considering the fact that it's a game 7 against a team like this, is win or go home, and then you put on that type of performance, like which one is more impressive?
like I said before, the playoff games are obviously the stakes are so high, especially in the finals, that I mean, you like for example, remember when LeBron went on that streak against the Pistons in that fourth quarter where he scored like 27 straight points or 29 straight points. I
24,
don't
I
know
think it was
how.
24.
No, it was almost 30. It was closer than it was more than 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Brian. I got a question. I got a question about
But I
Brian
don't know
too
how
after you
many.
answer
But,
this.
okay, I was just gonna say I don't know how many points he ended up with, but they won that game and he carried them like that. Like he scored those points in a row on his own head. Like, and this was against the Pistons team from like 2000. The team that had won in 2004. So we know they was some dogs on defense.
Yeah.
And
Minus Ben Wallace though. Ben Wallace was on the Bulls at
Ben
that
Wallace
time.
wasn't on. He was on the Bulls. Okay. But still,
Yeah.
overall,
Impressive.
they still was known for their defense, and I think that was a more impressive performance. He had to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You already know how I even rank the players that I like. It's just like, who are you in the playoffs? If you do everything in the regular season, but you not half of that, or you don't elevate, or you're not the same player in the playoffs, then I'm off of you. So I definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Hell, I even think about it like this. Remember, was it last year? No, it was the year they won. The year they won when Denver, when both Jokic and Jamal Murray both had the 30-point triple doubles in the same game.
Yep.
I consider that for either one of them. Pick one out of that performance to be a better performance. Because it's hard. It's already
Yeah.
tough enough for both players to get 30. But the both players that had the assist numbers too,
Yeah.
because
High
that means
stakes basketball.
you ain't just jacking up the shots on your own. You helping your teammates out and probably playing off of each other to get these points.
I can agree with that. Performing well in high stakes basketball mean way more to me than what anybody doing a regular season. I mean, because like you got your James Hardens and all that. And this is not to say that none of these players not all time greats or they not good players, and you know what I mean. But it's just like
Yeah,
it's way more impressive when everything on the line, because we see that's where a lot of greats fall and fold, and to be able to meet the challenge or play above expectation is always, I mean, it's always way more impressive to me.
that's true. That's true. I agree with that.
Right.
So, scoring all this scoring stuff aside, is there another topic you want to jump on real quick?
I just want to ask my Brian question first, then we could jump on something else. Uh,
Oh, okay.
because for like a month now, well, no, about 2-3 months, I've been back and forth with like coworkers, my homies, just a few homies, where it's just like every day they flood because I believe Brian is an all-time great. Is he my GOAT? No, Michael Jordan my GOAT. But they always flooding me with all this Brian stuff every single day, like every day. Excuse me. And one of the things that a lot of them say is LeBron James is like the greatest scorer of all time. And I'm like, do you watch basketball? Like, I'm not saying that he's not a great scorer. I'm not saying that he's not a bucket. He is a bucket. but I can probably name 20 players that score better than LeBron easy. You feel what I'm saying? Throughout time and history of the game. On top of that, a lot of people, a lot of players that play with him on his teams and stuff, they say that he don't even like he's not a one-on-one player. Like he don't play one-on-one in the practices and that like that. How can you be the all-time greatest scorer and not be a one-on-one player? I've heard numerous teammates say, like, yeah, Brian ain't no one-on-one player. Like, a lot of people could beat Brian one-on-one because that's not the strength of his game. The strength is him, you know, how cerebral he is, like running up and down the floor 5-on-5. But I'm like, okay, how did that make you the best scorer? Don't make sense to me.
I mean, I don't have no rebuttal for that. I totally agree with you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, damn, that's a damn good point. If you're not if you're not known to be great one-on-one, how can you be the greatest scorer? Because typically
You
those
feel what I'm saying?
players are ISO, able to get it done in the ISO, or even when you just out running ones, like you just so nice with it. Yeah. He don't have enough in his bag. And even when it comes to like people that have limited bags, he's not as dominant as like LeBron's best thing is, especially when he was younger, just straight going downhill. He's a Mack truck coming downhill, coming down the lane, rise up on you, dunk on you, that kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
even if you can hang on to him and stop him from dunking, he just so power layup through you. Stuff like
Yep.
that. That was, that's the strength of his scoring, you know. Uh He's dominant at that, but not to the level of, other players that we know for that, like Shaq in the paint or like Giannis driving. He's not as dominant as
Right.
Giannis is driving, you know.
Not as relentless as the two either. You're not as relentless as
Definitely not as
attacking the
definitely
rim.
not as relentless as either one of them. So yeah, it's plenty of players. Like we spoke on that, off camera. And, it's players that either they more relentless with a limited bag, or they're just more versatile scorers, or just better pure shooters, all kinds of different things. Got the more hand. Lots of players got more handle than him. His handle ain't nothing special. So yeah, like,
Right.
I mean, I will say this for LeBron, and I looked it up, and he is the guy who has the most 30+ point games in NBA history. But I mean, he also been gonna play probably longer than everybody who has ever played too. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's impressive, but that's kind of like an accumulation thing, just like his point totals. You play long
Yeah.
enough, you'll get it. I mean,
Yeah.
but a
Because
lot of
what's
30-point games, having that many 30-point games and it took him basically 20 years, 21 years to surpass MJ to get it. So just
yeah.
think about that.
And I be saying like when it come to that, for one, longevity is impressive in its own right, but it's not impressive as doing something as impressive in a shorter amount of time. That means you just was more dominant. You know what I'm saying? It took you this long for me. It took you 12 years for me to do it in 6. What I did in 6. That 6 year span, I was way more dominant than you was in them 12 years. And on top of that, totals and averages. Okay, totals is a longevity stat, but this year at the end of the season, who they going to give the scoring title to? The player with the most total points on the season, or the player that averaged the most?
Player that
You always
averaged the
go to
most.
yeah. So it's just like, you know what I mean. And it's not to say that he's not a great all-time scorer. 26 points a game for a career, as long as he been playing. Hell yeah, he a fucking bucket, man. Like what we talking about? That's LeBron James. When I say these things, it's not coming from a place of hate. I understand who he is as a player, but just because I don't think he the GOAT, I mean, don't come from my head, man. Because I stand on
It's all a
because for one, I stand on valid points with all of it. So if y'all want to debate, y'all know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to all three of y'all. Let's get on here and let's do it.
yeah, bring them up. Yeah, it's all about putting things into a perspective, when you compare one player to another, and stacking it up to how, you know, who's better at what and who does what, all these different kind of things. Um, so you got the LeBron part off your chest for
Yeah,
now,
I just wanted to ask you.
right?
Did we
So
really talk about SGA yet? Did we really get to it?
I mean, what more you want to say about SGA, man? I thought, I thought what he
I
did
mean,
spoke for itself. I mean, we talking about, and then like, all right, so you brought up something. I think SGA, does he have 2 scoring titles or just the one?
I think he got 2, but even the one where he fell short, he still averaged like 30. I
Right, that's what I figured.
gotta fact check that.
Because I
Yeah,
think
he done
he's
averaged
going
30
on.
3 years straight.
That's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was about to say. Damn, you took it. That's what I was about to go to. I was about to lean into the fact that I think he's about to go in his 3rd year straight of averaging over 30 points a game. So I mean, the boys mastered the scoring part of the game, man. He's putting up like, I mean, he
Hell
keep
yeah.
on this run. He keep on this run, man. Who knows that the sky's the limit as to how far up he can push his own legacy, especially if they keep winning.
Yeah.
We already know that winning got to come with it, but
Yeah. That's what I was asking, because I was gonna ask about his scoring, like where do you rank him? Like I was gonna put some names up there, just let you, see if you think he a better scorer or not than these players. And then I feel like that's naturally gonna lead into a conversation about his legacy, like you said. So I was gonna speak on, like, is he a better scorer than Carmelo Anthony?
yes,
You think so? That's tough, man.
yeah,
I feel like Melo more versatile though, because of the big body.
I feel like that too. But SGA just, I don't know, and his 3-point shot is getting better. I think that's the difference. And SGA, like Melo, he got the big body, and especially when he was younger, he would go to his post game a lot more. As he got a little bit older, he went to more that mid post, at the elbows, mid range game, jab stepping you, size you up, pulling your face, that kind of thing. He started off early. He'll post you up a lot more. He'll drive to the rack a lot more. He hit the occasional 3. And it's always been throughout his career, the occasional 3. Can hit his free throws, da da da. But SGA gets in the paint in his own way. He gets down there, even if he not just slashing to the paint, on a drive, he'll work his way down into the paint. And he has a bit of a high post game where he might catch it. If you're not a sizable enough player, man, he might not back you down, like what you think of a center backing somebody down, but he might back you. You put somebody like 6'3" on him, he catch it, turn his back to him, back you down one step, turn and hit the fade away on you to turn around on you. Like, he has a little bit of his own post game too. And we've seen him have the footwork when he split like double teams and step through and get off layups and floaters and stuff. Like, he has his own in the paint game. It ain't a power game. It's a finesse game. And then I mean, that his pull up J, his turnaround J, all his mid range type of J's, it all work. And I think he shoots it better than Melo did.
Even the mid range, working the mid range.
Even the mid range, I think SGA is more water. I know it is, but from what I can see, man, his mid range game is superior.
Because I'm making sure I'm not being biased. I asked because I was thinking to myself, SGA my guy, and I'm just thinking like, damn, like he keep climbing his ladder. I'm like, where do he rank all time scoring? I'm going through my head like, better scorer than T-Mac, yeah. Better scorer than Vince, yeah. Better scorer than. Then I started like getting into them names. Like, all right, we know Carmelo Anthony is one of the greatest scorers all time, versatile. Like you said, you just ran down the whole thing. Post work, at the rim, the 3-pointers, mid range work, the Jazz, like the triple threat. And I'm like, damn, is he a better scorer than Melo? And I'm like, I think he is, but let me make sure it's not my biasness saying that. That's why I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, you picked a tough one, but like, it's kind of like if you're not better than Melo, you don't even deserve to be in the conversation. Or if you're not close, if you're not up there with that, if you can't even like somebody could see like, oh, it's close between him and Melo, then you might as well not be talked about. But SGA,
I mean, you saying that like
Yeah.
Melo will be at the bottom of the list for that.
I mean, all right, like if you go to the top of the list, you got like there's like MJ and Wilt and like I mean, who
Kevin
else
Durant,
is Kevin Durant and Kobe? Like, is he
James
those
Harden,
guys? Those guys definitely clear him. Harden,
right?
even like regular season Harden, for sure, regular season, not playoffs. I mean, and even AI, I think AI is a better scorer than Melo. Even though
1 second.
Melo, his what happened? Well, I didn't hear it, so it ain't hit the mic. But what was I saying? Even I mean, AI doesn't have the percentage wise as Melo, but I mean, we know the degree of difficulty that AI had to go through, and with that, playing basically 1-on-5 every night as the only offensive scorer on his team, and to still uh, had the energy to keep being so relentless and driving and being fast paced and taking the hits and still making your free throws enough to a certain degree and winning 4 scoring titles. Like AI clears them too. Then you
Add
just
on to
got
that, playing through injuries that would shit today's
playing.
players down for like 6 to 8 weeks, 3 months, or something like that.
Yeah,
He playing through that, averaging 30. So the degree of difficulty for what Iverson did on the scoring end, like you said, despite the shooting percentages, it's just like, come on, man. A lot of y'all not built. Or most of y'all not built like that. I'm not
that's
even talking
true.
about just today. I'm not even just talking about today's play. I'm talking about throughout time and history of the game. It ain't too many players built like that that come in with a fractured collarbone or whatever he had going on, a fractured rib, a broken finger on your shooting hand, and like still be attacking the rim like that and still averaging 30. Like, come on, man.
Right. And then like I said, you simplify it down to like somebody like Shaq. I mean, Shaq at the rim is just like, I mean, all,
What you
all,
gonna
all the
do?
moves in the world don't make you care about like what you got in your bag when Shaq could just take and carry 2-3 motherfuckers on his back and still dunk it on you. You
Yep.
know? And then it
Drop step, go right up. Boom.
boom. Right.
All right, we back.
uh all right, cool. I wrote that down. Let's just make that even 48-minute mark to come back on. But dang, what was I saying? I was on the roll. I was saying Shaq. Uh, yeah, I got thrown off. Oh, even a nigga like Kareem with his fucking sky hook. Like, I mean, that's probably the one singular signature shot that's got the most buckets in history. Like, you know,
Yeah, that's a fact.
right?
I don't think
So,
nobody's gonna argue that.
and you know, now I might even delve into. Oh wait, I forgot Steph. How I forget Steph?
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you about 2 other players I
Yeah,
like.
how I forget Steph, and I mean for my money, I would say Akeem is better. But I mean, I can understand if somebody think now we talking about okay, it's close. You know what I'm saying? Um,
So you
damn, I
saying
had another player.
Hakeem a better scorer than Carmelo Anthony to you? See, yeah, that's what I'm
I think
saying. Like
so, man. I mean, but I think so, man. Like I don't know. It's
Melo,
like it's close.
Melo, Melo was just 10th on the list. I think he 11th now because of KD keep rising, but he was just 10th
Yeah,
on the list. All time
yeah,
scorers.
yeah. But what would you say about Dirk?
That was my next question. I was gonna ask you SGA or
Yeah,
Dirt. That's
SGA
tough.
or Dirk?
Yeah. Dirk is a bucket, man. I don't think
Ah,
people got
I'm gonna say Dirk until
I don't think people
like he's
understand how much
this is
Dirk
where longevity got to come in. This is where longevity got to come in because Dirk did it so long at a consistent level. You know, that's where that comes into play. But SGA has been, like I said, he's hit this peak of scoring where, I mean, let's say if he run it up another 2 years, I'd have to give it to SGA. And then if he
Yeah.
go 5 years in a row averaging 30 or more points, it's like, God damn.
Until KD just passed him, man, he was 6 all time. I'm sitting there like, damn, like he was sitting right between Wilt and Michael Jordan. I'm like, yo, people don't understand how much of a bucket Dirk Nowitzki was. So I think that's a tough one, man. People sleep on Dirk. People know he a bucket, but I don't think they know to that degree.
Right. And as far as, the game, like Dirk is one of the first big men that was like a top level scorer big man that was a shooter, 3-point shooter. We've had shooters even before him, but they were guys that was just like Lambeer. Lambeer might only average about 10 to 12 points a game, but he could shoot it. But that Dirk was the first one that was averaging like 25, 26 points a game, and that was built off of his
Right.
game as a shooter.
Mm-hmm. And he was he one of the first to be shooting threes like that? 'Cause I know
Well, that's what I
you got
mean
like
by no. That's what I
you got
mean.
like
I mean a shooter as a
deadlift
3-point shooter,
strength.
not yeah. But deadlift strength, another one. Like I said, he probably only averaged about 15 points a game, something like that, 15 to 20 points a game. I mean, like as being the
Okay.
focal point of your offense as a shooter, as a big man, as a 7-footer. Like that was like you might be a secondary, a third, fourth option before Dirk. Now it's like people want their 7-footers to be able to shoot like that.
That's
I mean,
yeah,
which
that's a fact.
only a few. I mean, nobody. I don't think none of them can. But I mean, KD if he counts as a 7-footer. But shooting like
Hmm.
Dirk, Cat comes close.
Yeah, cat up
Embiid
there.
when he was in his bag was up there, and I would say
Yeah.
maybe Jokic when Jokic is on his hot.
Yeah.
You know,
And not so much the 3 ball for Jokic, but just working like the 2 ball, the mid range long twos. He definitely
I,
elite.
I think Jokic might be a better scorer than Melo. That was tough.
I'm not giving it to him. They already gave him Melo number 15 in Denver. I'm not giving him the scoring. we,
I
we, we,
mean,
ain't, we ain't going
Jokic.
we ain't going to slander Melo. Like it sound like we
It ain't no
slandering
slander
you right
though.
there.
It ain't no slander because it's like I'm thinking as I'm trying to name players, I'm thinking that it's pretty tough. And like I'm only really getting to maybe it might top out at 20. I mean, you gotta think about it. How many scorers we've had in this freaking league, like that I'm not naming, like Dame, Kyrie, Paul George. I mean, Paul Pierce,
That's
like
just
like
that's
T
just
Mac.
today.
Like I'm not
And you
naming.
naming just today's players.
Yeah, T Mac, Bernard King. I didn't even name. Damn, he was just on my mind. Iceman, George Gervin. I didn't even name him. I didn't name Dr.
Iceman.
J. I ain't named Dr. J. I ain't even named Larry
That's
Bird.
another
I
one.
should have
That's
said
another.
Larry Bird.
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you was SGA better scorer than Larry Bird?
That's tough. I think he man.
I think he is because
I
I
think
think
he
Dirk
I think
Nowitzki
he
though.
edges Larry. I think he edges out Larry Bird too.
I think
That's
he
gonna
do.
sound like blasphemy to like some old heads.
Understandably why, because Bird like that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad I go back and look at the history of the game for sure. Because if you don't know, you don't know. I see why old heads on be on what they be on, but the hate for the young boys is too much too. Like old head, come on, man. It's like
yeah.
that's why we here to bridge the gap, ladies and gentlemen. Straight shooters 94. We here to bridge the gap, man. Y'all old heads and y'all young boys be going too far when y'all bumping heads with each other, man. Let's just talk about the
Right.
real facts of the game.
And damn, you know what? Take it all the way back. I'm forgetting Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. Like,
Boy, Jerry West, man. I gotta look that up too. It was something that I seen because they played in the league before the 3 ball. But they was some
exactly.
like just the footage that they had on Jerry West, and they started calculating like, yo, all right, he's shooting from about 30 right here and all that. Like if you count these as threes, what his total scores will look like, and like his 3 pointers made and all that. Man, listen, I gotta find it. I don't know the numbers, but I think we'll have even more respect on his name than what we do now. Like it's considerable amount, like for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so.
The other player I was gonna get at that people sleep on too is Dr. J. And I think the reason like him, like a lot of players that come from his era that they sleep on is because the players like him that played in the ABA first before coming to the NBA, before the NBA bought the ABA out and basically merged. That for the longest, remember, we used to look this stuff up. They didn't have his ABA stats and accomplishments attached to his career. I forget the year where they merged it all together. Like they started counting them all together. Man, Dr. J is one of the only 10 people to have 30,000 career points. That should tell you something.
Yeah,
For
yeah, for
real.
real. Yeah, because I think he
30,000
spent
points.
like what his first maybe 5 years in the ABA as a professional.
Hell,
So we missing 5 years, and he was balling out of control. You know how it is when a player comes into the league as a bucket. You know he's missing that part of his resume. You know, to a lot of people who don't even count the ABA, like you said. But I
yep,
think of him. I
averaging.
think of the ABA and the NBA as at that time equal basketball organizations, because I mean we wouldn't have the 3-point line if it wasn't for the ABA. We wouldn't have the dunk contest. We wouldn't have like the fancy wide open passing game. Like it was all still the NBA was still going by, fundamentals, technical basketball. Uh, I mean they was playing fast pace and slow pace, but it wasn't no flash really as much to the NBA as there was the ABA. The ABA, dudes like Pete Maravich and Dr. J and
Mhm.
George Gervin, like they all got signature, like it's the signature players. Pistol Pete with his signature, fancy passes. Before Magic even came along, it was Pistol.
That's
Dr.
a
J
fact.
dunking on people and all that, and George Gervin with his finger rolls and all that, his crazy layup package. You know, all
That's
that stuff
right.
that make the game exciting to us now. We don't get none of that without those ABA players doing their thing in their league, and then it finally merging over when the NBA basically saw them as like, man, they as far as viewership go, they got the better product. Now, as far as managing money and business, the ABA wasn't it, but the product on the court, it was competitive.
That's a fact. And then every name that you just said came in the league and like when they merged into the NBA, and then they were still doing their thing, cooking. It's just that they was missing their accomplishments and stats from being in the ABA first. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
they came in and picked up right where they left off, basically with the ABA.
Yeah. I mean, George Gervin even did better. I don't think he had any scorer titles when he was in the ABA because Dr. J was having them. But when he came to the
Yeah,
NBA, that's how he picked up 4 of them things. So
that's right. Who else? Another player we just was looking at the other day. Talk about from the Bulls back in the day. Artis Gilmore.
Ernest Gilmore, that's another player
He
that
was
was
doing this.
playing. Hell yeah, he
Was
was
it
doing his thing.
didn't Moses play in the ABA?
I think Moses played for a year because I think the NBA wasn't trying to have. He came out as a straight out of high school.
Had a high.
I think the
That's
NBA
right.
wasn't trying to have that, and so he said, "All right, well, I'll go play for them then. Holla at me when you ready for this."
Right. Yeah. Right. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
he's the first dude to
That's
be like, "Man, fuck college. I'm going straight to the league, one way or
that's
another."
right. Hey, so when it comes to them buckets, respecting bucket getters, definitely put Dr. J on that list, man, for sure.
Yeah,